background and how she rests are is important, and their identity. When I don't, we
Even in this route of recovery, you get to real stories, real recovery. I am Kat, and I'm on the road of recovery.
My name is Joyce Bronson. I am on the road of recovery, literally. I have 4 addict children recovering. One of those deceased 2 years ago of a drug overdose. I live with my husband and 8 grandchildren that we have been raising since 2014, whose mother was an addict. She's a recovering addict now, but we lost our daughter Sherry 2 years ago. She went through recovery and was doing so good, so good. She was working full time. She had her own apartment. She had went to her son's and stayed a few days, and they all got COVID, so they were quarantined.
Okay.
And when quarantine was up and she was going home, she stopped by our house to see me and her dad. And she said, I'm going to stay here, tonight. And her dad said, well, that's fine. But he was laughing. He wasn't serious. He was like, but your pup can't stay. And she started laughing. And she said, I'm just kidding. She says, I'm, going home. I just wanted to stop and see this.
Mm-hmm.
And that night, our son's ex, who was also another addict, she lived a mile away from Sherry, and called her and told her, I'm sending an Uber over to get you because I want to see you. She had just got, I can't remember if she got out of jail or rehab. Well, she hadn't been out. She went to prison for 4 years.
Okay.
For burglary and stealing cars and all kinds of stuff. Her drug problem developed into the crime scene. So she hadn't been out very long, and she sent an Uber to pick up Sherry. And Sherry died at her house. They believe that Sherry still smoked marijuana, so she wasn't, 100% clean, but she didn't mess with pills and she didn't mess with heroin, but she liked smoking marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe that the marijuana was laced with fentanyl. And the worst part is that it was probably around 1:30 a.m. when she pretty much started dying. And they didn't call nobody. They recorded her dying, and they probably called the life squad around 3:30 a.m., I think. And no one called us until 5:33 a.m. And actually, it wasn't a call, it was a text. But I heard that text for some reason. My notification on that text, I heard it, and I'm thinking, who is texting me so early in the morning? And it was from Heather's sister, not even Heather. It was from her sister. And she said, you need to call the hospital or go there. They have your daughter, Sherry. And that's all it said. So when we got there, machines were keeping her alive. The doctor said that she had probably laid for 3 or 4 hours before they called Life Squad, because she had laid so long that the impressions of the floor and everything where she was dying was just embedded in her skin. And so by the time, her brain went too long without oxygen, and there was nothing, they could do.
Right.
So, yeah. And that's been rough. That's, sometimes I feel if I would have been more educated or accepted it sooner, that maybe, and I uh, I hate drugs. I hate that I couldn't save my children myself. I knew, that there was a problem. At that time, I just, thought that Becky was having problems with, the pain pills. And I would talk to her, and tell her, and ask her. And of course, she would, deny. And I don't think Jessica at that time was on anything. And Bridget wasn't either, because her boyfriend was, had been on heroin for years. And I kept telling her, if you stay, you're enabling him because you tell him he needs to quit or you're leaving, and he promises you the moon and the stars if you stay, and he'll quit. And he does for a couple weeks and he goes right back to it. So he knows it went on for so long, over and over. He knows you're not going nowhere. He's not going to quit.
Right.
I said, eventually you're going to be where he is. And that happened. That's what happened. I really don't know. Sherry always had told me that for her, she, they were at a party and everybody was snorting pain pills. And she started snorting them. And I think it was like her 30s. So she started, big. She started perk 30s. And one day, her and my sister, and I think Rebecca, and her husband's sister, they all were supposed to be buying panas, is what they were called. And apparently it was heroin. So that was the first time that my daughter Sherry said she had ever done heroin. Rebecca, the first time she ever done it was with, and that was the first time Bridget done it too. It was her and Sherry, not her and Rebecca. Rebecca's first time was with Heather, my son's ex. And she already had a drug problem when he got with her. We just didn't know. Jessica was years later. She was the latecomer. Her boyfriend, fiance at the time, he started getting high first. And he, told her one day to try it, that, it was a cheap way to get high. And that was, not that he broke her arm and twisted her, and that's what, nobody twisted nobody's arms to do anything. They made the conscious choice to do it. I used to always tell them, if you can make the conscious choice to try that drug, all you have to do is make the choice to stop. If you want to stop and you're ready to stop, you can do it. They have to coincide. You have to be ready and you have to want it. You can't want it but not be ready, because it's not going to work. Then things really started getting bad with the drugs.
How so?
Well, Becky was pregnant again. She brought all the kids to my house, and she would just, leave, be gone for hours, days, come back. She'd be so high she couldn't, she couldn't talk. You'd be looking, I'm not high, but all of a sudden you'd see her, she was almost on the floor, just nodding out, bending over, Then we found out that our daughters, Bridget and Sherry, was also on heroin, and Jessica, Jessica's clean. She's been clean for several years too. She put herself, her and Sherry both put herself in Brightview, up in Georgetown, and went through a recovery there and got clean. Becky substituted. To get off heroin, she started smoking crack. To get off crack, she started doing meth. To get off meth, she started drinking alcohol. she still drinks. We fight about it a lot because she thinks because she's off heroin now that that makes everything better. And I'm like, it really doesn't, because you're just substituting. You're still vulnerable. You still have children that you need to try and mend your relationship with. And she'll come to the house and she'll stay for a week, sometimes two, but we fight. We fight so bad. And I hate that. I love her so much.
So are you aware that Ohio Mental Health and Addiction Services now has the certification for family peer support?
No.
Yes, I will. We will share that information as well. I'll get it to you. So you
Okay.
have it, because they've recognized, peer support has been wildly successful. I mean, it's the premise of 12-step programs, self-help groups, is peers helping peers. And they've seen the benefits. It's been in the mental health field for longer than the SUD side. But we've really seen, how amazing it has worked. With that being said, they saw that there's youth peer support now and family peer support, because just as you were saying, being able to talk to somebody that understands where you've been and not coming at you with, well, why didn't you do this, or you should have done this, just being able to listen, and you having that experience of of walking through that. A lot of times I'm not looking for somebody to tell me what to do. I just want somebody to listen.
That's it. Having somebody, and that's me, when things have been, rough. I mean, everyday life, it's a struggle. Them kids, though, that's what's kept me grounded, and my faith.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I lost my Sherry, I wanted to die, and I knew that I had my husband and my other kids, and they're grown, they're going to take care of themselves. And I was like, but these babies need me, they need me to take care of them.
Yes.
So, I owe them, because they've what's kept me surviving. They've been what's keeps pushing me forward to be a better version of myself for them
Mm-hmm.
and for other people. And I think everybody needs that in one way or another, whether you're an addict or a friend or family of an addict. We all need somebody to care. We all need somebody. Doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't have to be go out and do this for me. Just sit and talk.
Yes.
Have a cup of coffee or a soda. Sit and talk with me. And if you don't want to reply, that's fine. But let me vent and get it all out.
Yes.
That is such a big help. And that is one of my biggest things. Because once I get going, I'm sure you've seen, I can go, because talking is my therapy.
Yes.
I don't hide it no more. That's what I started out saying. I used to hide everything, keep it in, didn't want nobody to know. I was the mother of 4 addict daughters, and I don't care. I am a mother of 4 addict daughters, and I love them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm not scared to talk about it.
Right.
It helps.
Yes.
I believe wholeheartedly that this is my purpose in life, is to find a way to let people know they're not alone, to let parents and grandparents know that they're not the only ones suffering from raising children that become addicts. To let addicts know you're not alone.
Yeah.
There are people who care and people who will help. And I want to be a part of that. I, so badly want to be a part of that. I love y'all. And my prayers to each and every one of you, family members of an addict, addicts. I feel you, and I love you all.